Today's first case throws us straight into the chaos. Miss Gil, a commercial driver with a long record, faces accusations that go far beyond a simple hit and run. What starts as a fender bender spirals into a heated clash over responsibility, race, and recklessness. Buckle up, this courtroom's about to get real.
I'm here on Miss Gil. She's set for a bond today, and so
She in custody?
she is. Yes, Your Honor. And she has one pending felony, but she's out. She's out on a bond for that one already. She just has no bond set in this case.
I see bond sets. I see the FSGI's at 1,000.
Provided.
Yeah.
Okay.
It must have just gotten set. I don't know.
Okay. Is it a PR bond?
No. It's a
Okay.
show.
Okay, then if we could review it today, is that possible?
Absolutely. Do
Okay.
you mind, Deputy Etchigon, do you need a translator?
No.
Do you mind me bringing up Miss Gill? All right. Good morning, Miss Gill.
Good morning, Your Honor.
I wanted to bring you out because we're talking about you, and it's only fair that you get to hear what's transpiring since these are your cases.
Yes, sir.
I want you to know, I don't know anything about your case. All I know is that you've now, as of 3/26, yesterday, you picked up a failure to stop and give information. What happened? Oh, well, hold on. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. Okay.
On March 25th, 2025, officers were dispatched to 15357 Wallaceville Road in Tarrant County, Texas, regarding an FSGI call. Upon arrival, the officer spoke with the complainant, who stated that she followed the defendant after the defendant's vehicle hit her twice and failed to stop and give information. The complainant stated that she was driving southbound on the East Sam Houston Parkway, and the defendant failed to drive in her lane and sideswiped her, causing the vehicle damage to the right side panel of the defendant's vehicle. The complainant stated that she blew her horn several times for the defendant to stop, and the defendant refused. The complainant followed for approximately 3 miles to 15242 Wallaceville Road, and the complainant and the defendant exited their vehicle, and the complainant told the defendant that she hit her vehicle and needed insurance information. The defendant then told the complainant no, and that she was getting something to eat. The defendant went inside the business, exited, and then entered her vehicle and attempted to drive away. The complainant blew her horn several times to get the defendant to stop and told her the police were coming, but the defendant ignored the complainant. The defendant then began to put her vehicle in reverse and proceed backwards, hitting the complainant's vehicle a second time. The
So
complainant...
are you telling me that now it was intentional?
The complainant moved her vehicle to avoid being hit and followed the defendant. The complainant flagged the police down to identify the defendant as the person who struck the vehicle. The estimated damage from the complainant was around $4,000, and the defendant stated she didn't stop because she was hungry and colored.
And what?
Colored.
Color.
Yes, Your Honor.
Can you look up to see if she has a valid Texas driver license?
Yes.
Ms. Gill, I'm going to find that there is sufficient probable cause to go forward with your case. Not only are you on a felony probation for assault of a peace officer, not only are you on felony probation for injury to a child under 15, but you pick up, after both of those, an evading arrest in a motor vehicle, and now an FSGI. I am taking away your privilege to drive. You will now be signing an affidavit with me today, promising me you're not going to drive. I don't give a rat's behind what your excuse is. If I find that you drive in violation of this affidavit, I will have a contempt. I can have a contempt hearing. I can have a contempt.
Judge, after.
Finish.
I'm so sorry.
Finish.
I'm a commercial driver.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
You, if you do have a CDL,
Sorry, that is correct. She does have a valid CDL.
are held to an even higher standard because of that CDL. You now have a total of 4 open cases, one of those being this FSGI and an evading arrest in a motor vehicle. I am taking away your privilege to drive. If I find that you do, I can have a contempt hearing. You can be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine. I truly am at a loss with the attitude.
Okay.
Truly.
Okay.
In this case here, not only do we have an FSGI, but it's also alleged that you backed up and hit the person intentionally. Because allegedly hungry and covered. So now, this is an affidavit, and I hope that you take it seriously. Because if you don't, there will truly be disastrous consequences. Ms. Gil, I want you to understand that I'm going to do everything in my power to protect my public at all costs. Do you understand?
I understand you, Your Honor.
May I make argument for a PR bond, Your Honor? She's made a bond in the felony already. And even with the affidavit to not drive, I expressed to her that that was a possibility of a bond condition. I've spoken with her. She has family members who can help her get to and from court. She's a single mother of 2 children. She has lived at this address here in Houston for the past 5 years. She lives with her mother. She lives with her younger brother. Has lived in Harris County her entire life. And she has, in these felonies, she's actually applied to be put in mental health court because during this incident and the felonies, she was unmedicated and she has a history of mental health diagnoses. And so as a client of the Harris County Public Defender's Office, we have every intention of getting her treatment for those mental health issues. But she's already made a bond in the felony, and she's willing to abide by any condition that this court will impose on her. It's down to the difference between $0 and $100. And
So I appreciate your argument. She's technically, you are right on bond. My feeling is that these felony courts probably do not know that she has now picked up this case yet. So I don't know what, if anything, they're going to do when they do discover this. I find, Ms. Goucher, right? Is that what, Ms. Goucher? I really appreciate your argument going to bat for her, but I think with her demeanor, her attitude, her reckless and wanton action on the road is that you are a danger to the public. And your bond is now set at 1,000, and I'm going to raise it to 5 because I think that you really are a danger to the public, and your attitude shows us and tells me that, hey, I'm going to do what I want to do, and that's it. And that's always, I mean, really.
don't say anything.
How many people died this weekend on the road because of the reckless and wanton actions? All we want are our streets to be safe.
You're not helping me, Your Honor. You're not helping
Don't say
me.
anything.
I'm struggling. I'm a single mom, and I've been struggling with the courts for years already, and I'm tired of this. Okay? I was beat, okay, in front of my children, and I was thrown on the ground like an animal, okay? And I'm tired of this. I'm tired of all of this, okay? In front of my children. My children have trauma, okay? And I have no insurance for the medication, and I have not been on the medication. I'm trying to get the insurance to get on the medication.
Ms. Gil,
Okay.
I understand that, but at some point, your actions become your own, right?
You don't understand. I'm colored. You don't understand me. You don't understand me. If I was a different color, you would. And it's true.
That's so
It's
not.
so true. It's so true. And you know this. You know what I'm talking about.
I call out discrimination when I see it on a daily basis, ma'am. I don't care who it is. I don't care what color. If they're a small farm animal, I don't care. I call it when I see it. The only thing, because I don't know them. The way I get to know them is paper. And they tell me what happens in the case. And from what I see here and what has transpired here within the last 10 minutes. Really?
Officer Harris did not read me my rights.
Well, I will let
They've been mishandling me like this for years already, okay? I have the right to tell you this. And I'm telling you, she did not read me my rights. She just shoved me behind the officer car. I did not get a voice to speak out anything.
Yes.
She just brought me to jail.
You guys speak about that. I'll tell you, look, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave your bond at $1,000 now, all right? I'm not gonna raise it to 5, but I can't continue to give you a PR bond.
From employment too.
Listen,
Okay.
do not drive. It's the only thing I'm asking you to do.
I'm a commercial driver.
Don't pick up a new
Yes,
case.
sir. Yes, sir.
And just, all right. Come on. Justin.
In our next case, the courtroom spotlights a man who quite literally fell asleep at the wheel and nearly in traffic. Jermaine Marl's second DWI charge unfolds like a cautionary tale of denial, danger, and déjà vu. But this judge isn't buying excuses, only accountability.
Here on Mr. Jermaine Mallard.
Is it Mallard?
Yes, sir. I wanted to approach about his bond conditions to see if we can get those amended. Currently, he's required to do the random drug and alcohol test. He has a GPS monitoring with the curfew from 9 to 6, and he has a scram device. I wanted to see if he could get the GPS monitor removed and have the curfew removed. He does work. His work hours are from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., sometimes 8 p.m., depending on the day. But he also needs time to travel to and from work. He also supports 4 kids.
Time do you want?
I'm sorry.
What time do you want again?
I was asking for it to be removed.
I mean, it's a DWI second. It's got, I need to do a deeper dive. So if you want to give me a second, we can talk further, but I've got a waiver real quick. Let me help him out and then I can do a deeper dive. I put it on there for a reason. It's only been, not even 2 weeks. So let me do a deeper dive to see why, because I don't remember.
Yes, sir.
I don't remember anything about the case, so if you don't mind, please.
On March 1st, 2025, at approximately at 11 p.m., the officers were dispatched to a 911 call regarding a motor vehicle stopped on the road with a male in the driver's seat passed out at the 300 block of North 8th Street in Harris County, Texas. The officer observed the defendant's motor vehicle stopped on the road facing the wrong side, forcing multiple motor vehicles to drive around the defendant. The officer observed the defendant's engine on, with the defendant sitting in the driver's seat, appearing to be sleeping or passed out, with the motor vehicle in drive and the defendant's foot on the brake. The officer observed an open container of...
Come up, Mr. Mallard. Just kind of rewind about
Sure.
3 sentences, please, when he's up here.
All right. Officer observed the defendant's motor vehicle stopped on the road facing the wrong side, forcing the motor...
Going the wrong way down the street.
Stopped on going the wrong way, yes. Forcing multiple motor vehicles to drive around the defendant. The officer observed the defendant's motor vehicle to be on, with the defendant sitting in the driver's seat, appeared to be sleeping or passed out. The motor vehicle was in drive with the defendant's foot on the brake. The officer observed an open container of Bacardi rum, a 750 milliliter bottle, approximately 10% full, sitting in the front right passenger seat. The officer attempted to wake the defendant unsuccessfully, which led to the officers being forced to break the defendant's front right window to get into the motor vehicle due to the doors being locked. The officer placed the motor vehicle in the park, and the defendant was asked to step out, and he immediately fell to the ground. The officer observed slurred speech, red bloodshot eyes, a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage, and poor balance. The defendant refused SFSTs. The defendant advised that he had not consumed any alcohol beverages and wished to speak to ask for his lawyer, and was loudly repeating no comment to all questions. The defendant was read the DIC and he refused breath and a blood warrant was signed. The defendant was transported to HCA Southeast ER to obtain the blood and the defendant
I think I'm good.
Your Honor, this gets into resisting.
Oh, okay.
Which I understand if you,
That's okay.
but it is. So the officer the defendant refused to exit the vehicle, even though the officer was asked to multiple times. The officer had to physically guide the defendant out. The defendant stopped walking while walking to the emergency room with the officer and advised that he wanted to go to the VA hospital. The officer advised the defendant that he had a search warrant and the defendant refused to move. The officer grabbed the defendant's upper arm and again advised the defendant of the search warrant and again he refused to move. The officer then advised the defendant that if he had to pull him inside, that he'd face additional charges. Again, the defendant refused to move. The defendant advised he wanted to go to the VA hospital and tried pulling away into the direction to the entrance of the hospital. The defendant went dead weight and laid on the ground outside and refused to move and screaming at the top of his lungs, "Someone help me." The officers had to be assisted by hospital security and placing the defendant into a wheelchair and transport to the hospital, and blood was drawn with the assistance of 3 officers holding the defendant down.
Mr. Mallard, do you watch the news?
Yes, sir.
How many people died this weekend due to an alcohol-related collision?
The one that comes to mind, sir, is the softball team. Her mom, her dad is in critical condition right now. That's the latest one that I did see, sir.
There were at least 3, if not 4, different accidents this weekend where people died. There was in Galveston an entire family that was cut down because of an alcohol-related collision of a person who allegedly just completed a DWI intervention course here and a couple months later goes out and then decimates an entire family. In this here now, you pled to a DWI not 3 months ago with above a 0.15. Now you hear on another one, there's alcohol allegedly in the car, the wrong way on the street, completely passed out to where. There is a reason why I do things in life. I don't do it just for shites and giggles. I want to protect my community at all cost. And I think that it is an appropriate condition to not have you near the car. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All I care about in this short life is protecting my community. And I'm going to try to do it at all costs. I understand that it may be a hardship to you, but sometimes in life, things are learned when they're faced with difficulty. And now I do not want you out in the middle of the night, and I don't want you near a car. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Perhaps in some time, because I'm not an a-hole. I try not to be, right? But it's been 2 weeks since you've picked up this DWI. I shudder to think, do you have the blood back yet?
No, I did not have to get back yet.
Before anything, even remotely getting near, I want to see some proactivity on your part.
Yes, sir.
But you coming up here and saying, woe is me, goes in one ear, goes out the other ear. I care about my community. That's what I care about. That's what matters most to me. And I'm going to protect it at all costs.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
So I am willing to work with you on the hours if you need hours to work, but I don't want you out in the middle of the night. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Yanni.
Please.
And just so that you know, he has started attending AA meetings. He's been attending for the past couple of weeks every night, virtually. one of the facilities that offer the AA meetings, they do offer it, is it at 10?
It's at 9:30.
At 9:30, but his curfew would need to be extended a little bit more, that
You
too.
can do it at all times during the day. You can do it remotely. You can do it via Zoom. You can do it online. I don't want you out at night. It's not going to happen. Because then if I let you out at 9:30 at night, well, I need an hour to get back home and then now it goes to 10:30. I'm not going to do it. Their AA meetings are literally all day, every day. You just have to find it. You have to be creative. That's why we have computers. That's why we have the internets to be able to help you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you, Yang.
What a roller coaster of courtroom realities we've just witnessed. 2 cases, 2 lives, each exposing a different but equally critical side of the justice system. In case 1, Miss Gil's story was one of defiance colliding with desperation. A commercial driver caught in a hit-and-run incident, wrapped in claims of hunger, discrimination, and frustration. The judge's patience wore thin as he confronted her past, felony probation, evading arrest, and now a new charge that could strip away her freedom to drive. But beneath the legal tension lay something deeper, the tragic intersection of personal struggle and public safety. Her outburst, "You don't understand me, I'm colored," added raw emotion to an already volatile moment, forcing the courtroom to confront both law and lived experience. Then came case 2, Jermaine Moore. His case wasn't about anger, but about accountability. A repeat DWI offender, found passed out behind the wheel with a half-empty bottle beside him. What makes this story chilling is how familiar it feels. The judge's frustration mirrored a larger societal fatigue, the endless cycle of alcohol-related crashes, preventable deaths, and offenders who just don't learn. Yet, amid the stern lectures, there was also a glimmer of humanity. The judge offered Moore a path forward, sobriety, structure, and second chances, but not without strict boundaries. Both cases highlight a simple but sobering truth. The justice system doesn't just deal in punishment, it wrestles with human behavior at its breaking point. These moments aren't about villains or victims alone, they're about choices, consequences, and the fragile balance between mercy and protection. From reckless driving fueled by anger to impaired judgment, clouded by alcohol, these hearings remind us why courtroom cameras matter. They don't just record, they reveal. And as we leave today's session, we're left with tough questions. Can rehabilitation ever outweigh a pattern of recklessness? Where does accountability end and empathy begin? And how many second chances is too many before someone else pays the price? If you found these cases as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.